Looking at the basic anatomy of the rear deltoid muscle, we can see that it is located on the very back of our shoulder. Now, what this means is that traditional shoulder exercises such as, say, the overhead press or even the lateral raise, extending our arms straight out to our side is going to be a very ineffective way to work the rear deltoid muscle. So in today's video, I'm going to give you guys 6 incredible rear deltoid movements that are going to activate and recruit every single muscle fiber right in the rear delts.
You ain't got no gains. You ain't lift no weights.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Your shredded brother from another mother. And first and foremost, rear deltoids absolutely have got to have them to have perfect shoulders and that aesthetic 3D physique that we all want to have, especially when it comes down to spring and summer, because you get lean and you have all 3 heads of the shoulder sculpted. You guys are going to look incredible. These 6 exercises, do these 1 to 2 times per week. You're going to sculpt some crazy looking shoulders. Now, the first exercise is something that I call the 45-degree incline rear deltoid fly. I want you guys to do 4 total sets, stay in the 8 to 12 repetition range, and keep your rest times at about 60 seconds between sets. Now, first and foremost, I want you to make sure that your palms are facing in, because keeping the palms facing in is going to mean we're not going to be able to rotate our shoulder and take the activation off of the rear deltoid. So keeping the palms in, almost think about pushing the weight up against the side of your hands as you come out. So palms in, you're pushing that weight out, and really focus on the concentric squeeze. So as you're squeezing, and by the way, make sure the bench is set up right at around 45 degrees as you see me in the video, and really focus on squeezing and contracting at the top of the concentric portion of the repetition, going down nice and slow and controlled, and really focus as you get more and more fatigued, squeeze harder. I cannot tell you how powerful being able to squeeze and activate a muscle is while it's fatigued at the very end of your set. That's going to be a complete game changer throughout this entire workout. The second exercise is the reverse cable rear deltoid fly. Now, the setup is everything on this exercise. You're actually going to be crisscrossing your hands, and you're going to have the cables at a height that I would say right at about the top of your shoulders. So it's not too low, it's not too high, it's right at the top of your shoulders, and you should almost feel a little squeeze right in your rear delt as you reach across. Now, you're going to reach across, your left hand across your body and your right hand across your body, and then you're going to squeeze and contract out on each repetition. So focus on really squeezing your shoulder blades back, really emphasizing those shoulder blades all the way back where you can get that full squeeze on the rear deltoids. And then a power tip on this one is don't come all the way back to the starting position. I want you to kind of like go about almost to maybe 20% back to the starting position so you can keep tension on those rear deltoids and then squeeze back again. So you want to keep the deltoids, the rear delts, under constant tension throughout the movement. And with this one, 4 total sets, I want you to go a little higher repetition range on this because we are using cables. 12 to 15 rep range, 4 total sets, rest about 60 total seconds, and you guys are gonna have an insane rear deltoid pump. So before I get into the next exercise, do me a favor, smash the like button. Let me know in the comments what state or country you're from if you're not from the United States, and what muscle group you are trying to bring up the most, just so I can kind of figure out some upcoming content for the channel. One more thing, make sure you guys turn on post notifications. I'm gonna have videos coming your way 5 times per week until the New Year's. Next exercise is the rope cable face pulls. Now, much like the exercise name indicates, you're gonna start off in a position right around like the position of your face. And you're gonna focus on pulling and squeezing back. So you're gonna squeeze your shoulder blades back on the concentric portion of the repetition. So focus on, as you're squeezing and contracting your shoulder blades, really firing up and activating those rear deltoid muscle fibers. So this one is a fantastic exercise to put a little bit more overload right on the rear delts. I recommend going 4 total sets in the 8 to 10 repetition range on this exercise. And if you can, really get a good squeeze and hold and contract for a solid 1 second at the top of the concentric portion of the rep. And once again, mind-muscle connection is everything. You should really feel a great contraction starting right at around your face, keeping those shoulder blades back, and you guys are gonna really enjoy this one. Fourth exercise is one of my personal favorites. I actually got this from Kai Green, and it is the rear deltoid shrug. Now with this one, you're gonna start off with an easy bar. You're gonna hold the bar just inside shoulder width apart, and you're gonna actually hold the bar behind you. Now the motion of this to activate your rear deltoids is you're gonna squeeze your traps, and you're gonna push the weight back to really emphasize your rear deltoids at the same time. So it's a trap squeeze as you're bringing that weight even further back behind you to emphasize and contract those rear deltoids. Pause the rep for a second at the top of the movement and then go back down nice and slow and controlled. I really recommend choosing a weight that's light, because if you go too heavy on this, obviously you can shrug a lot of weight, but the movement is not a shrug. The movement is to shrug and squeeze your rear deltoids behind you at the same time. So you want to make sure that you can control the rear deltoids throughout the movement, really get that squeeze and contraction. And if you go too heavy, the rear deltoids are a very small muscle. If you go like 80 or 90 pounds, there's no way, unless you're like Phil Heath, you're gonna be able to handle that much weight. So pick a weight that's fairly light. I think I used like 40s or 50s on this video, and 4 total sets, 12 to 15 total repetitions per set. Rest no more than 60 total seconds. Next up is an interesting movement that I call the standing rear deltoid row. So that same 45-degree incline bench, you can use that position for a starting position on the rear delt row. Now, we want to make sure that we minimize the amount of bicep on this movement. So instead of rowing in to your chest where you're working your upper back and your biceps, I want you to really minimize. Take the contraction and the overload off of your biceps and focus on rowing back and squeezing your rear deltoids at the same time. So it's not rowing to your chest, it's rowing back, and you really shouldn't have to bend your elbow as much as you would on a traditional rowing exercise. And you should feel an intense contraction on the rear deltoids. You can go a little bit heavier on this exercise, but once again, make sure you're not rowing into your chest. Make sure that all of the contraction is on the rear deltoid muscles. I recommend going 4 total sets. You can go a little bit heavier, so stick in the 8 to 12 repetition range on this exercise, and go for about 60-second total rest. Once again, the rear deltoids are a smaller muscle group, so it's not like we're doing squats or deadlifts. You don't need to rest 2 to 3 minutes between sets. Minimize your rest times to about 60 seconds. The last exercise may not look like anything new at the beginning, but we're actually gonna add partial repetitions to maximize the metabolic stress, aka the time under tension right on those rear deltoids. So we're gonna do the seated rear delt fly with partial repetition. So you're gonna start off, pick a weight that you can do about 12 total times at your absolute max. Focus once again on squeezing and contracting the rear deltoids, especially at the top of the concentric portion of the repetition. And then what you're gonna do is, once you're completely fatigued, you still got some gas left in the tank for some partial repetitions. So you're gonna close out 12 total reps, full range of motion. Then you're gonna do 8 partial repetitions, and do this at the end of your workout for the last couple sets, and you guys are gonna have an insane burn like that. You're just gonna feel those muscle fibers really fire off and activate in the rear deltoids. And think about, once again, pressing off on the side of your hands. Like, try not to like grasp it and like push. Like, as you get tired, you're gonna have a tendency to kind of like hold that bar really tight and pull with your hands. Remember, we're bodybuilding, we're trying to sculpt the rear deltoids. So instead of holding that grip really tight, like, try to even like don't grip it at all and just use this part of your hand to activate the rear deltoids. So that's one little tip that I really like doing on the rear delt fly. Alright guys, thank you for watching my top 6 rear deltoid exercises. Make sure you stick around, because I'm going to link to a few of my best shoulder workout videos, and I'm going to link to my favorite upper chest training video in about 30 seconds. So if you haven't seen those, make sure you stick around. And another thing too, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what muscle group you want me to cover next in this series. I'm trying to go through every single muscle group, but if you have a particular muscle group and I get enough comments on it, I will push that video to the start of the list. So I got videos coming I believe 3 more times the rest of the week. I will see you guys tomorrow.
Halloween pre-sale. Can you handle the world's strongest, most maximum dose pre-workout? 40% off pre-sale. It will arrive on your doorstep along with the trick-or-treaters on Halloween night. Link in description. Grab it for 40% off while you can. Make sure you subscribe. Join the Superhuman family. We got videos 5 times per week helping you look sexy and get the body of your dreams. Wait, if you haven't seen my last 2 videos, make sure you check them out right here. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below, and I will see you on my next video tomorrow.